All right, it's showtime. Hey, happy Friday, everyone. You made it through the first week of January.
Hey.
Despite the nuttiness that's going on in the world, here we are.
Absolutely.
And by the way, we're not getting into politics, so don't bring that up, you know. And anyway, so we're here. It's Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson with Atkinson Consulting.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way Systems.
And this is our show where we answer your questions. So the number one thing that we want you to do right now is take some action. We want you to say hello. Yep. Where are you? Who are you? If you're a new audience member, that's fantastic. Welcome. If you're somebody that's been here before, that's fantastic. Welcome back. But we want you to take action right now by just simply saying hello. We're going to be getting into some content later. We've got a really fantastic lineup of topics today, and we absolutely need your opinions. But the first thing we want you to do is just say hello. And if you've got 2 seconds, can you please share that you're watching, share that you're here, share that you're doing something. We're really trying to grow an audience, and we need your help, and that would really help us. So if you can comment that you're here and share, that would be fantastic.
And you know what? I want to thank everybody because last week that was a week that it was just New Year's Day. We didn't know who would be available, and we had a great audience. And everybody was sharing. So thank you so much. Keep sharing it. Let's grow this audience, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, but today we're not drinking alcohol. We're
not drinking. I'm drinking coffee and water.
Yeah, so last week it was Bloody Mary morning for Marshall. This week it's coffee still. So
I had mimosas, and I think I must have did 4 of them in the middle of the show. And I don't drink alcohol a lot, so I actually stopped in the middle of it and was drinking water because anymore, and you would have seen Alan asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, yeah. So after the show, did you go take a nap? What'd you do?
I did actually. I went and slept. I put food on. I had sauerkraut and Polish sausage and put that in the oven and fell asleep in my reclining chair.
That's fun.
It was
yeah. So after the show last week, I sat and watched football. So right. So anyway, so we got some people watching again. Please say hello if you're here. I know a lot of people are jumping in right now. Say hello.
Absolutely.
And then also please share. So Joost is here from Uppsala, Sweden, like he is always. So how are you? Good to see you here. Brian's here. Good morning, Brian.
How you doing, Brian?
Peter's here. Good morning from M&R. Glad to see you here.
Always good to see Peter.
David's here. Hello, everyone.
David,
I love your avatar, Wolverines. That's such a great movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Matt's here. Hello, all from South Carolina. How are you doing?
Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, guys, and happy to see y'all.
Yeah.
And are you ready to get into some good topics?
Let's get into it. It's been a good week so far, so yeah, I'm excited.
Hey, before we do that, what have you been doing all week, Alan?
Have
you been goofing off?
If you didn't hear, I actually, yesterday I had a great day. I actually did an online seminar for Shirt Lab Tribe, bleeding and dye migration. So, this is a seminar, Marshall, that when you and Tom asked me to do that, of course I'm honored always. And it was going to be easy. It was one of those, I've taught this seminar live before. I figure I'll just get the PowerPoint, pull it up. We will tweak it, update it a little bit, take me about 20, 30 minutes out of my time. And I could not find the PowerPoint. I could not find any of the pictures in any of my thumb drives, hard drives, externals, and all that. So I spent most of the week, as you know, in the weekend redoing the whole thing. And things like that stress me out. But Marshall, I want to say thank you because you actually told me, said, Alan, usually what happens is it ends up being better than it ever was. And it was a great.
It came out fantastic. I really loved what you did. So good job.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I was stressed out. It took way more time than I expected to do it, but I'm glad I did it. I went and saw some clients this week. Just needed to get, with the break and everything, I needed to get out. I went and saw some clients in Michigan. And, we were talking about what was going on, their plans for this year and how last year, and everybody was very, very positive. And I'm glad to hear that because, man, I'm excited. I did year-end numbers and forecasts with Easy Way Systems, what I thought the area can do, and going up. So, yeah, I am real excited. Mr. Eggers, you're one of my dealers. We're increasing, right? Let's go. So
we had a comment here. So David said, can you post a link to Shirt Lab or videos? So I posted a link to Shirt Lab Tribe to get into the tribe. It's a mastermind group. It's kind of a pay to play. So you got to get in. And so for the group, we do a expert presentation every single Thursday. And so Alan's was yesterday. I'm actually doing the one next week, and it's all going to be about employee performance reviews. And these are the presentations we do are actually built for the tribe. They're recorded, and then we have an off Facebook thing called the Shirt Lab Tribe Research Center, where we post all of our videos, and we do a bunch of stuff there. And the idea is that we're creating basically the Netflix for the decorated apparel community. So you can go and you can binge watch stuff on a bunch of different topics. So we have a lot of the content that we're producing gets recorded and gets put there, but we're also on purpose recording information and putting it there. Back in November, I did a whole segment with Jesse Martinez with Matsui on using a color spectrometer. Alan, I know I asked you earlier this week to do something on using a 21-step test and also coding screens using a scoop coder. And so you're going to be filming those. Those are just going to be for our tribe, and that's where they're going to live, right? So if you're interested in Shirt Lab Tribe, let me get the link back up. It's shirtlabtribe.com. We want you to join. It's a fantastic group. A lot of the people that are here watching right now are members of the Shirt Lab Tribe. And so if you guys are watching, just comment. And if you watched Alan's video yesterday, maybe leave a comment about how fantastic it was. That would be great.
Only comment if it was fantastic. If it wasn't,
right. So
Marshall, on the resource group, I think this is so exciting. I love Tribe and Shirt Lab because it is you put it as Netflix for the industry. You can go back, you can rewatch it, you can get it. I know some people that are actually using some of the videos from some of the summits and stuff as training, which I think is great. And you have one of the best guys in this industry helping with the resource center, and that's Richard Greaves.
Yeah, right.
And so right after that, Richard always helps me with pictures, and I put it on photo credits. But him and I were talking last night because there were some articles that he sent me that Rick Davis wrote and Mike Ukena, who is now retired, on bleeding and dye migration. And I called him last night. I said, Richard, these need to be put into the resource center because they're just gold.
Right. I need to hook up with him. So
yeah. So I did that, Marshall. He agreed.
Great.
So the value of Shirt Lab Tribe is just growing and growing.
Yeah, right.
So good. I am honored to be a part of it.
Well, thank you for your assistance, your help, and your support. And also Easy Way, supports Shirt Lab, and M&R actually supports us too. So we have a lot of industry support. So thank you so much. So we got some new people in. Let's just say hello real quick, and let's get into their topic.
Let's go.
So Cindy's here. Good morning. Watching from YouTube, Cindy, like she does every week. So thanks, Cindy. Ron's here. Have a good day.
It's always a good day, Ron.
David says, I already showed that one. Cindy says, way to go, Alan.
Thank you, Cindy.
Keisa says, good morning. We're watching while we print.
Awesome.
Thanks. And by the way, Keisa, are you printing your latest round of high school championship awesomeness? Is that what you're printing? We're very curious as to that. And if you don't know, Keisa's in Shirt Lab Tribe, and she's been talking about her high school keeps going and winning, and they're in the state of Texas football championships, and they keep winning, and she keeps printing. And so it's just an ongoing serial soap opera that we're all following because we're all rooting for Keisa. Lots
here
of
in
fun.
Michigan, they had to interrupt the football playoffs because of COVID. And my nephew, his school, North Branch High School in North Branch, Michigan, for the first time ever won their division. My
Great.
nephew's a starter for him and has some college offers. They are continuing the playoffs Saturday, and
Yeah.
they're playing Country Day in Detroit. And the guy that's supposed to go across for him is like a huge pick going to a big number one college. So,
Well, that's exciting.
yeah. So, hey, Wyatt, I know you won't be listening. Uncle Alan's pulling for you, buddy. So,
Yeah. Did you play football when you were in high
I
school?
didn't play football, but his father, my brother Jeremy, uh, he's 11 years younger than me.
Right.
So the only game of his I saw is when he played state.
Right.
His high school went to state, and I came up. I was living in Indiana or Ohio at the time, and came up, and they played state in the old Pontiac Silverdome.
Oh, cool.
They didn't win, but pretty proud. So
Yeah. So I played football in high school, and
right.
I was the slow white kid that tried hard. I was that guy.
I didn't play football. The sport for me, I played baseball all the way up in the high
Right.
school and through high school. So
Yeah. So David says 3 full shop conversions this week.
awesome!
Great.
I get to take the rest of the week off. That's what I have dealers for.
Ray says Tribe sounds like it's Florida State inspired. Hey, Ray, that's very interesting, but I can't take credit. The name actually comes from a comment that Jay Bassell made, which on our first Shirt Lab Live show that we did in Columbus, Ohio in 2018, he was our first presenter, and one of his slides was "Your tribe is your vibe."
Mm.
And that's where everything comes from, because it comes from our group, it comes from our industry. And it was such a dynamic thing when Tom and I launched Tribe last year at Shirt Lab Summit, which was our virtual thing that we did back in June of last year. We adopted Shirt Lab Tribe as kind of the name, and it all came from Jay. So, but I like where you're going with that, and thanks for naming my alma mater there. So,
Since he's here, I want to give a shout out on my presentation. Ray Smith sent me some great pictures, Poly One and all that, of their Libra line. So, and then
right.
Dan Solomon on their on the Libra silicone and the Aquarius water-based bleed blockers. So, thank you, Ray.
Yeah, and Ray, I'm going to be emailing you later. I have a question from one of my clients that I want to get with you about. So, and then Kisa says, yes, sir, go Hayes. Cindy says, is Kisa from South Lake Carroll? I don't know. You need to answer that, right? Sean's here. Happy Friday. And then, we got a question.
Sure.
So we're using plastic charge discharge inks with a Asadi dual cure emulsion with post-exposure, and our screens break down after 25 prints. Any suggestions?
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're not exposing it long enough.
Well, there's a couple of questions that I have. One, which dual cure, because not all dual cures are water resistant.
Oh, there you go.
So secondly, most dual cures can't be post-exposed. Only pure photopolymers were. So here's the thing. One, make sure your dual cure, whether it's Sadi, Yolano, Kiwo, anybody, is designed for water-based in/discharge.
And that should be on the label or the product description page,
I
right?
always get just like ink, get the manufacturer's tech data sheet and check. Don't guess. Don't ask somebody on a message board. Go to the manufacturer.
Right.
Or your dealer. One, you're going to want to check your exposure. Make sure if you're exposing with an exposure calculator, 21 step scale, you've got to measure that. And two, what light are you using? Because Marshall, I'm going to go on a little bit of a soapbox, being a guy who's actually, most people know I worked for Sadi. I know emulsion. I have sold Kiwo and Yolano. That's where I live, in that screen room. And if you were trying to do water base with a very bad light source, you're going to have issues. So Superior, I don't know where you are, and you're welcome to email me. I'll be glad to help you out with this. I need to know, what is your light? To make sure your emulsion is water resistant, and make sure you're getting you're drying with, especially with dual cures, are you drying properly? Unlike pure photopolymers, if you're not dry all the way through, and I'm not talking dry to the touch, if there's moisture in there, those molecules will not cross-link. The water prevents them, and you'll have a soft spot. So there's a couple things there that we have to check.
And if they want to get with you later, let me just throw your email up here.
Absolutely.
So if you just want to email Alan, I'm sure he can help you directly with whatever you're doing in your shop. And you might want to not type all that out here, but just email him, and I'm sure he'll help you. Right? You'll help him, right?
I will. I actually, after the seminar yesterday, someone emailed me and texted me, and they were surprised. I called them right away.
Yeah. Okay,
it
cool.
Doesn't always happen that way, but I will contact you, honest.
And then Lon says Aviant. And
you know what, Lon? You're right. I said Poly 1. It is now Aviant. So awesome.
And by the way, since Lon's here, we want to say something. Can I show the thing?
Do it. Lon, get ready. You know what's coming.
Lon is going to be our guest on the show next Friday. So he'll be here answering your questions. So we want to just kind of give Lon a little publicity and shout out and say, thanks for agreeing to be part of our crazy show.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm excited. When Lon and I were talking about him coming on the show, if you don't know Lon Winters, one, and I'll say stuff he won't, he is a great printer. He is a guy I go to. He's very much of SOPs and having things dialed in his shop. He has some great prints, and he's a consultant and a speaker and a writer. But Graphic Elephants is a print shop, and Lon and I talked, and we're looking forward to talk about how in COVID they've had to change. They've had to adjust in what they are doing. And, he's in the same boat as everybody else on this. They've done some things. They're above water, and that's good. He was worried, but just going to be sharing like we do here. So I'm excited.
Great. So just some more comments, and then we'll get to the first topic. So Superior says they're using old school tube lights, which could be an issue.
Could be the
time for an upgrade. And then Ray says, make sure when you activate plastic charge, wait 15 minutes, mix again, and then put the screen into print. Undissolved activator will scratch and break down the emulsion.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll act as an eraser and an abrasive. Tube lights are not the greatest. The question is how old are they? When's the last time you've changed them too? Yeah. And then for a dual cure, I would not go to it. I would go to a pure photopolymer.
Don't they have a light meter you can measure just see how active your bulbs are and how much light? Isn't there a gizmo thing?
Yeah, they do. They're quite expensive. The problem with fluorescent tubes is, back in the day, Marshall, you remember when we first got on this, fluorescent tubes were some of the lights that it was that and metal halide, wasn't much else.
Right.
The problem with fluorescent tubes now is that very few people make them. And even the manufacturers, a lot of them have stopped making fluorescent tube units because the tubes are so poor quality. They're just not there. The other problem is that fluorescent emulsion does not expose by brightness of light. They expose on a range of light,
right?
The degree of light. Yeah, and fluorescent tubes can actually wear out on that range and still stay bright. They just don't burn out. So you just don't know.
Good, good stuff. And then Sean says Lon is awesome.
He is amazing.
We agree. So let's go to our first topic.
Let's go.
Which is the first week of 2021 is over. I hope everyone made it through safely. But let me tell you, it already feels to me, Alan, like February is just like around the corner next week. It feels to me that January is snap your fingers and it's going to be over and things are picking up. Yep. And let me tell you, I'm getting way more calls. I've signed some more coaching clients. Things are picking up. Lots of people are wanting stuff right now. And I just think I'm busier than I've been in a while. And I'm just got a lot of energy and I got a lot of things going on. My whiteboard is full. I mean, full of stuff that I'm going to be working on and doing. And I just think that this month is going to go by in 2 seconds. and then it's going to be February. And if you're not careful, and if you're not planning and delegating and putting stuff on a calendar or whatever, the things that you wanted to do this month, you're not going to get to it. You're not going to complete it. And it's going to be February and you still haven't done stuff. So that's the reason why I want to kind of just talk about that a little bit. What do you think with the folks that you're talking to or what you're doing? What are you seeing?
Well, I'm seeing people doing the same thing. One, I'm like you, Marshall, personally. We are into the first week is over. We're in the second week already, and I'm going to be jammed all this month. Mm-hmm. February is a short month. And what did we talk about last week? In less than 90 days, what's the date?
April the 1st. April.
Here goes the first quarter. Your first quarter is done. If you blink, first quarter's over and we've lost it. Everybody I'm talking to, they're either some are still extremely busy with orders coming in, and that's great. Some are going, okay, we've lulled a little bit, but they have plans of what they're doing and where they're attacking, and they're moving.
Yeah.
And I think that's where everybody, regardless of what goes on in the world, you've got to, we are in charge of our own destiny, and we've got to keep going. And we are. And I am so excited about this year, regardless of anything, because, I think everybody is just, we're all like you. We're just tired of being tired, and we're moving forward. And I am jazzed.
Well, it's all about taking action. Right. Yep. And my blog article tomorrow is about taking action. And if we can sit and we can commiserate and we can whine and moan and bitch about whatever's happening.
Yeah.
Right? But it's the action steps you actually take. You have to do stuff. Right. You can't talk about it. You can't, bitch about stuff. You got to actually take the action and do things, even if it's failure, even if it doesn't work, even if it's, it's half of what you wanted. Half is better than zero, right?
Yep,
you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep doing stuff. And a lot of you guys watching are business owners. And I got to tell you, this is something that I talk about a lot with the folks that I coach is it doesn't have to be you doing things, right?
Yep.
You've got people that work for you. You can offload some things, right? Or you can find a virtual assistant, or you can find some tech gizmo, or you can hire another company, or there's a lot of ways to skin the cat, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're not making progress and you're not doing stuff, right, as the business owner, as the leader, ultimately it's your fault.
Yep.
And you got to just suck it up and get stuff done. And I think that's going to be a great way for you to finish this first month with success is by getting things done, is really by tackling some good issues and stuff. And let me tell you, if you're watching this right now, I want to know where you're struggling.
Yeah.
Put a comment, put a question. Where are you right now? What are you trying to work on? You can't really figure it out, or you don't have that information or whatever. There's a lot of people watching right now that can help you. I can help you. Maybe Alan can help you. Let's get it out there, throw a comment in, and let us help you guys, right?
I had a client tell me one time, he goes, it just felt like this past year, it was 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And we all thought about that. But you know what that is? 2 steps forward, 1 step back is still movement. And that's still growth.
You're still moving forward. Right?
Absolutely.
Right. And all right. So a couple comments here. Charles is here. Thanks, Charles, for jumping in, coming in late for 2 regular guys. Hey, if you're just like Charles, coming in late from 2 regular guys, please say hello. Tell us where your shop is, what's going on. And if you wouldn't mind sharing that you're here on social media, just hit the share button there and help us out, right?
I was listening to them before we came on, Marshall. They had a great topic. They were talking about copyright infringement.
Oh, yeah.
Again, and that was awesome. So, you got to remember, Friday is the Friday lineup for our industry. It's 2 regular guys at 11, us at 12 noon Eastern, and then later in today at 4 o'clock, it's Eric Campbell and the Take Up. So, yeah.
Good stuff. So, Daniel's here. Great show.
Thank you, Daniel.
He's got a comment. We had 2 amazing years with growth. 2021, we focused on getting stable and getting better at what we do. Go all in on lean culture, then back to growing 2022. So that's great, Daniel. So here's the thing that I want you to think about. If you're going into your lean journey, it's all about documentation. It's all about process mapping, that type of stuff. Are you starting that? Are you measuring? Here's where you need to be with that, right? It's not just about reducing about, your head count or anything. It's about really understanding the actions that you take. Let's just say there's 10 steps to do stuff. Can you do it in 8? Right? Or do you even need to do it at all? Like, for that matter, right? So just really kind of understand and start asking. Here's the most important question. Why? Why are we doing this? And if your answer is, it's because it's the way we've always done it, that's not a good answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Keith's here. Good morning.
Good morning,
Cal's
Keith.
here. Good morning. Good
How
morning,
you doing,
guys.
Cal?
Right. So first week of 2021 is over. And I really think hopefully it's been a good week for you guys. Hopefully that you've gotten some sales, that things are opening back up. I know some folks are still on vacation, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And so they're traditionally slower. And so their shop is still closed this first week. Right. So I know some shops are like that. So and that's all good, right? You know your business. I think there's nothing wrong with that. You need some downtime. So all right. So if you're planning on stuff for 2021, let's hear what's going on. Leave a comment. Let's get to our next topic while we're waiting on some things.
Let's go.
All right. So yesterday I attended an online virtual conference called SKUCon. So there's a operating system stuff that's mainly for the promotional products industry called Common SKU. Some of you guys might have heard of that. And they put on events all the time, right? And usually they have a SKU camp. It's in Vegas, associated with the PPAI show. But of course, that show got canceled. So they did a virtual event called SKUCon. It was a really great lineup. It was all day yesterday without a break. Just all day, no lunch break, nothing, just go, right? And they closed up with Seth Godin, who's one of my favorite authors, and multiple speakers talked about the importance of stories in marketing, right? And so the reason why I kind of wanted to talk about this today is because I think this really can resonate with a lot of you guys, right? So a lot of times in our marketing, we're selling features and benefits, right? We're talking about the price point on the, it's 100 shirts for $5 or whatever it is. We're not talking about stories. We're not talking about the impact that the product that we're trying to sell makes, right? We're not talking about what it means to save time, to save labor, to solve that problem, to do things. And that's also as, you guys at Easy Way, right, Alan, or me as a consultant or a equipment manufacturer or whatever, right, or a t-shirt shop or an embroiderer, right? We get caught up into really marketing. Look how pretty this looks, right? Look how good this looks. We're not showing and talking about the stories, what resonates with the customers, right? And this is the reason why we need more customer testimonials, right? So what happened? How did that end customer feel? What problem did we solve? How much more money did they make? How much more time do they have? How much less time did it take to do something? So the stories that we have, the examples that we show, I think need to show up more in our marketing, because that really resonates with people. And I think people can identify with that type of stuff. So Alan, what do you think about that? And if you're watching this right now, share some story that you've told or your customers told that resonated with your customers. And let's kind of have a discussion about this.
Stories are incredible, especially in sales. As someone who sells chemical, there's a lot of products out there. I have a lot of competitors in reclaiming chemical. And I can say why ours is better, which it is, which I believe that. And I know what works well. And it's a lot of technique, and I get technical. But when it really comes down to it, and I did this yesterday, a gentleman, they're looking at an automatic reclaim machine. And you know what? They could use us or Saudi or CCI or whoever else is out there. But you know what works is when I can say, this company, right? Oh, yeah, I've heard of them. They have that same machine. They were using this product. Here's the problems they have. They've went to us, and I explained the whole story, and I'm not going to say who either of these people are, but I'll give you their name and number. When those testimonials come out, this is why. And when I can rattle off 3, 4, 5 of them right now, that story in the making is it. When I can share when there's an automatic reclaim manufacturer who does not really care, someone can put any chemistry in his machine. But when a VP of that company says, the thing about EasyWay is their stuff just works better, that's a great story. That's not me talking. That's other people.
Right.
And that has a bigger punch than anything I can say.
Okay, well, here we got a kind of a comment question from John here. Mm-hmm. Our biggest issue is customers being gun shy to place advance orders due to restrictions still in effect in our area, Illinois, right? Our bulk of winter orders in advance, outdoor summer event orders went from 30 to 40 down to 5. Okay, right? It is a problem. Okay, so here's the thing. There are still people buying right now. You're selling to the wrong customers.
Yep.
Right. So people right now, they're not buying with who you're trying to sell to. Right. So who else can you sell to? Right. So maybe these people will eventually buy because it's Chicago, Illinois, it's kind of weird. Right. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was talking with a company in Chicago this morning, and they were, lamenting about the mayor of that city. And we're not going to get into that. But everything's on lockdown. And it's all kind of crazy. So I totally get it. So what I want to talk to you about is what else can you be doing? Right. And we talked about, we're not going to use the word pivot anymore. Right. But you need to change. You need to find different customers. There are people right now who are buying, and they're buying tons of apparel, right? Just not these people.
Yep.
Okay. So don't abandon them. We still want to stay in touch. We still want to learn. We still want to do stuff, right? We have to understand their problem better, because maybe there's a different solution that you can do, right? But maybe we find another customer segment that you've never done anything with ever. You need to do the research. You need to start looking at them. You need to start thinking about how can we serve them better, right? And start that whole journey to see what's going on. But the thing that you can't do is just sit there and kind of wait, right? We got to take this type of action, right? And what I'll tell you is that a lot of customers are kind of gun shy, and you're right about doing stuff, right? But if we understand their problem, and I don't know who your customers are, but if we understand their problems better, what's going on? A case in point is schools. Schools right now, in a lot of places, they're not in school, they're doing homeschool, right? And I can tell you from talking with other shops, one of the biggest things that's selling right now are plaid pajama bottoms with the school logo on it. So the kids that are doing homeschool can feel like they're still part of the school. It's loungewear, They create an online store. And then guess what? Now you've got orders, you're making money, you're doing stuff. Because the school has changed a little bit, you have to understand their problem, what is going on, and then come up with a solution that could work. So maybe that's something that you possibly could do here. I don't really know, right? What's your opinion on that, Alan?
Well, exactly right. I've had a lot of clients, and they've had to adjust right away. And if you think you're behind in the game and adjusting, you're not. Just do it. I was at a shop this week. They're talking about they're glad they had to adjust because that saved their business. And now the problem is they were in schools and events just like that. And that all kind of went away. They had to move into a corporate market and find these other little niche markets, and it's worked out well for them. Now the problem they have is that, man, if schools and events do come back, boy, their sales are going to skyrocket. But then now their problem is their production. They're not going to be able to handle the capacity. So It's a good problem, but you do have to adjust and move and be flexible. I think sometimes as companies, we are not fluid enough. You got to be water. Water has no shape. It takes the shape of whatever is around it. And you've got to be water in these markets. If it was just outdoor summer stuff, event orders, man, I'd be going, what winter event orders are there?
Yeah.
Illinois is different than Michigan.
Let's just
Yeah.
He had a follow-up comment. I'm trying
Sure.
new approaches with either 25, 30-year customer car shows. Our schools are not in session. Sports were halted. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. So can we do something with the car show idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the car shows aren't happening, but guess what? They still have cars.
Yep.
Right? Can we do an online store and can we do a virtual car show? Right? So maybe you have to help the car show folks come over into the Zoom side of things, right? Can we do a virtual car show? And there's merch for that. And there's going to be on a web page and we're going to be doing stuff and blah, 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 blah. And you can help them build this thing.
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
So I'm just spitballing here because I don't really know everything about your customer, but it's just one of these things that I have a coaching client and one of his stuff is he does CrossFit. All right, CrossFit athletes, they're not doing the CrossFit competitions anymore. And what they're doing is they're pivoting to do CrossFit workout of the day stuff where each month it's a different t-shirt color. And, you're going to post a hashtag on Instagram and that's going to get everybody like kind of what's going on. So maybe you could do a virtual car show thing, or you could do something about they're still resonating and they're doing stuff. And maybe there's something you can do with that. I don't know. Right. So I think the thing to do is kind of brainstorm with your clients about how they can still be relative and how they can still be germane to the conversation, even though we can't get together for the car show.
I think, Marshall, even from there on that whole car show deal, then there are specialized car clubs, whether it be a Mustang club, a Chevrolet club, or something like that. And man, those people go nuts.
Yeah. What if you had a COVID-19 car show?
Yeah.
Right? It's the COVID-19 car show. You did a webpage for it. You take a 3-minute video of your car, zooming around it or whatever, and you post the video, and then everybody can look at everybody's car with the video.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? I don't know. And then everybody gets the t-shirt for participating, and there's still sponsors. There's still, you're still selling turtle wax or whatever they do. It's like, there's things that we can do, but what we can't do is just say, I'm just waiting for this thing to come back, because you're not going to be generating any revenue while that happens. Right.
Yep. So John, I think you're doing great. You're starting to look at a new market, keep pushing and keep expanding out within those markets.
Right. So Cheryl says, I'm in Illinois. My sales so far are my 2 biggest slow months. January and February are a lot better than last year. We changed a lot when COVID hit, and it has worked. Thanks, Cheryl.
Very
appreciate
good, Cheryl.
that. January and February are traditional slow anyway, unless you're like ski resort based or something, right? And so what I've always told people, if you can get out of January and February and you're at break even or whatever, you're doing great. Right?
Yeah,
you can pay the freight for this first couple months, you're doing fantastic. If you can make a profit, it's just awesome, right? And the other thing that I constantly talk about, and you've heard me say this before, is that your business owner brain needs to be 6 to 8 weeks from now. So your January sales really happened in October, happened in November. They don't happen in January, right? Your business owner brain right now should be in March and April, right? And not really focusing on the whatever is happening in your shop for this week or next week. Sales happen in advance. And if you wait to that month to try to sell for that month, you'll always be playing catch up.
Yep.
So it's always about what are we doing way in advance, talking to people early, looking at historical data, who ordered in April or March of last year, who ordered then. I'm calling them now. Can we start on the artwork? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What's going on? Really kind of understanding things and not waiting, right? And just doing that in advance, that's really going to help you. Okay. Daniel says our marketing stories are either focused on environmental issues and how we're solving them. Great. The
Right. Awesome.
sexiness of craftsmanship. Oh, I love that phrase.
Yeah, that's the sexiness of craftsmanship.
Distancing us from advertising promotional segment and rather be a merch provider, which is way more hot than promotion items. Okay. That's great. That isn't lean journey though.
Yeah.
So, but that's fantastic. I love that. Okay. And if you're focusing on environmental issues and how you're part of solving them, are you talking about sustainability for your shop? If you are, I would recommend that you look up the Sustainable Green Printing Partnership, which is sgppartnership.org, and look into getting your shop certified. I've actually gotten the shops that I've run, I've gotten 2 shops certified through that process. And I can tell you it's a fantastic journey, and it's you'll save tons of money, but it becomes a great marketing thing for you because now you've proven that you're sustainable. You're not just talking about it. So throwing that out there. Cal says to connect with high school presidents, class presidents.
Very good.
That's a good idea. And then John says, appreciate our efforts. We'll look into it. So good job. Right.
Very good.
So we got a motor, right? So let's get to their third topic, which is trust times affinity. So that thing that I watched yesterday, this is what one of the speakers was talking about. And trust is really about who are you, right? Mm-hmm. And do your customers trust you, right? And so this is really goes to what you do, how you show yourself, your craftsmanship, just like the last guy was just talking about, how you do things. Are you trustworthy? That kind of thing. Do they have trust? And then also affinity is, do people like you? Right. So this kind of plays into how your sales are. Right. So if you think about what are you doing on purpose on both of these issues? Right. Are you becoming more trustworthy? How are you doing that? What tools are you using to build trust? Right? On purpose, building trust with every relationship you have. How are you doing that? How are you showing that? How are you constantly, consciously working on that? Right? And the other thing is affinity is, how are you making friends? Right? Are you good at that? And I know a lot of people, you look at their website or you look at their social media and they come across with zero personality. It's just flat, right? And you probably know what I'm talking about. How are you showing that you've got some spunk? You're doing something. Yeah. Look at the smiling faces in your shop or smiling faces with your customers, which is better, right? How are you engendering those relationships and making friends, right? So why do people buy from us? They buy from it because they know, like, trust, buy. That's the sales cycle, right?
Yep.
Trust and affinity. That's what we're talking about here. So, Alan, what do you do? What you do all day to build trust and affinity? And then also, if you're watching this right now, what are you doing to do these two things? Share your tips, share your kind of thoughts on it, and let's get a discussion on that.
Well, I'm a bad example. Nobody trusts me and nobody likes me. There's a couple things now. My career now is different than when I started. 33 years of doing this, you build some credibility.
Right.
And so one of the things I started with is I never claim to know everything, and I still don't know everything. And Marshall, you and I talk about this.
You don't know everything? I thought you did. That's the reason why you're here.
No, I just hang out with people who do, like you. But we've talked about
I don't know everything either.
You know what? I know what I know, and what I know pretty well. But you know what? I also have the phone numbers of people that know a ton more than me and know stuff that I don't know.
All right.
If you come to me with an art question, I am going to say, wow, that's a great question. Let me call Marshall.
Hey, by the way, did we mention that Lon Winters is here next week?
Yeah, and I have Lon's phone number, and I have called him. I have sent one time, I was given an issue at a client, a print thing on something I had never seen. I took a picture of it and sent it to Richard Greaves and Lon. from there. And they both answered it within 2 seconds. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Here's what it
Right.
is.
Sure.
Not a clue. I just know people. So, the trust part comes as I don't claim to know what I don't know, and I don't lie.
Right.
And if I find out I've been given bad information and it causes me to tell someone that could be construed as a lie, I will go insane.
Right.
The
Right.
person that told me that, and I'll go back and do that. We all make mistakes. We own up to it.
Right.
As far as likability, sometimes there are just going to be people sometimes that just you don't get along with, and that's okay. Try to treat people the best you can.
Well, your personality, I think, is who you are.
Yeah.
Like, for example, you're the only person I know on the planet that says "son of a biscuit." That's your part of your personality. Now, I tend to cuss like a sailor, but not when I'm on camera.
I do too, but not on camera. It's it's things like that. What did they say one time? It's like freaking meow, and it's like yeah, and you pick up on things. There people can come to me for answers, and I try to help them out. That's the trust thing,
right?
Whether they buy from me, that's the like thing. That's going to be there, and that's going to be how I present. How do I handle myself? How do I, I try to work with them on any issue.
Right. Sure.
I take more print problems than I do reclaim problems.
Yeah.
And you know what? My job is not to sell just chemical. My job is to help in my area that I manage, help people make you successful. If you're successful, I'm going to be successful.
Well, here's the thing that I think that makes you so likable is you are not transactional. You're all about the long game, right? And I think that's a great mentality to have. Like, so if you don't know the answer or you don't think it's right, you will recommend, hey, look at this, go talk to that person, whatever. Yeah. And I think this is a really great way. And like, I recommend like people all the time, like you should go talk to this person or, whatever. Mm-hmm. I know what I know, right? Like, and I recommend folks all the time, different shops or different other consultants or different platforms or whatever. But when I recommend something is because I know that person's going to take care of them. And I'm not just recommending somebody just to recommend them, right? There's a certain reason why I'm doing that, right? And but to me, it's all about the long-term relationship that I want to build with people. It's not about sure, I would love more money, pay me, right? Like 100%, right? All day long, right? But I would rather develop a long-term relationship that's mutually beneficial between me and somebody else. That matters to me more than just making $50 a day or whatever. Right? So,
and I learned the long game early on. I had not to sound like Forrest Gump, I'm not a smart man. But, I learned to listen to people who knew more than me. And I've shared the story. I went to church with the owner of DCA Finance. His name's Dick Clark, and he's still there. But Dave Harding owns it now. And Dave's been on our show. And I was barely 20 when I got into sales. And Dick and I sat down and we just talked. And he just shared with me how to be, he was a young guy. When he was young, he was VP of Wayne Door, a big garage door company and stuff like that. And he shared with me, said, you have to decide right now, Alan, I'll remember this sitting at that restaurant. And he points to me, goes, you have to decide right now, are you in it for the long game or short-term sale? And I had to ask what that means. He said, short-term sale, you're the used car salesman. You got the sale. You hope you never see him again. And you don't care what happens. Long game is, can you look these people in the eye 3 years from now? 4 years from now, 10 years from now.
Right.
And he goes, sometimes it's not about that. And because I met him at church, how to be a young man at faith and in business and there. And, I can't give enough credit to the people that invested in me. So yeah, the long game. And it's about helping people more. And you know what? The immediate sales won't come. Long-term will.
Yeah. And let me tell you, we're all on our different road. We're all on our different path. Sometimes we don't really know where the road is going. I signed a new client the other day and they took a class from me in Long Beach, I think, several years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they have an issue now. And the reason they still remembered what I said,
Mm-hmm.
and now they need help.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's just an interesting thing, right? It's just like they need, like, I haven't been, I've never really called on them, never talked to them, or I didn't even really know who they were, right? But they called me up and we had a meeting, and now we're talking, right? So that's just the way things happen sometimes, right?
You know, next week I'm going to be out of town and we're going to be videotaping. Back to the story thing, an easy way. We need to do a better job. So Alex Mimosa, my boss, and I are going to be there. They're having an auto reclaim unit installed, and we're going to take some video of it running.
Good.
Because our story in that. But this guy, who I think I saw might be watching covertly right now, and I'm not going to say who it is.
Covertly,
I saw on there.
is he wearing a disguise?
He is. You know, yeah, because he did like the show already now. But so we can see the stuff. But you know what? He was a guy I called on, I made a cold call. I stopped and kind of blew me off. This was a few years ago. And out of the blue, I get a call from him maybe a year later. And he goes, I don't know if you remember me. I said, of course I remember you. And he goes, look, man. And he listened to a podcast, Marshall, I did with you when you had the big idea.
Right.
And he goes,
that was a good podcast.
It was a very good one. And he tells me, he goes, I think you and Marshall were talking to me about my shop. And I kind of said, yeah, we were. No, we weren't. And he was ready to drop down about 15 grand because he thought he knew the problem. He had the money. He was going to give it to me right then over the phone. He goes, here's what I need. Here's what I want. And I said, no. I said, look, I will come down in 2 weeks. I'm going to be in that area. I don't want your money now. I said, if you liked what I said, I'll come in. I will do a complete shop audit and tailor it right for you of what your needs are. I did, wrote up a report, and that gentleman still has now become not one of my just great customers, but a great friend.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, and so that goes to trust and affinity right there is the best story.
Right. So,
and those are people that still, Marshall, outside of business where they become friends, which are
there's plenty of folks.
And we've all had those things in our lives, and right before Christmas, I lost my father, and I got multiple calls and messages from him, and that guy I'm seeing was one of them.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. So yeah.
Right. So John says, we show 30 plus years of loyal returning customers and use those customers as salespeople. Hey, guess what that is? It's called a referral.
Yep.
Right. We have had over the years got to know these people, customers, to the point we know their families and send them personal non-business messages. At times, we get to know as much as we can from our customers, new and old, and we touch base with them with ideas we feel can help. They can be friends or customers. Our product quality sells more by word of mouth. That's great.
Yep.
That's great. And Lon says, be authentic.
Absolutely.
And then Scott says, hey, Scott, welcome. Says, be active on social media. Share photos of your prints that you are proud of. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
I show photos of your prints. Show photos of your process too.
Or better, show photos of your customers wearing your prints.
Oh, awesome.
Right. And so a lot of people, especially in this industry, we get really hung up on showing how the sausage is made.
Yep.
And our customers don't absolutely care about that at all. Usually. Yep. They don't care. What mesh did you use? You mixed an ink. They don't care. You know what they want? They want their shirts on Friday and it better look good. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you show more examples of that, the shirts are delivered, the customers are happy. That resonates more with customers than how the sausage was made, Mm-hmm. And so I know lots of shops really like to show off what they're doing and everything, and that's more for their own internal ego, right? Mm-hmm. And it's important to show this kind of stuff, but your end customer, that was screen printed or that was DTG. Most of the time, mm-hmm. all they care about is a good looking shirt and did they get it on time?
Yep.
Right? And I hate to say that because
it's true.
I'm all about process and how things are made and everything, but just take that to heart sometimes with what you're posting. So, mm-hmm. Although I love seeing a good looking shirt on a press, you know, and a geek out and all that stuff. So, you know,
I, I think, you know, when you show a little bit of behind the scenes, it helps people to connect to you.
yeah,
It's more real. But yeah, they don't care. They may not know that's an automatic press sitting there. They might not know that's a direct to screen unit or a film positive, but they are going to say, oh, now they feel more connected to you. And that's
sure.
how this is made. And when
Yeah.
they pick up that order, you're delivering it, man, get a picture with them of saying another satisfied customer or whatever.
Yep.
And and do it.
So
And
think
then
about
post
this.
them and yeah.
Think about this in other industries, right? Think about this in like a restaurant, right? I've been to a couple restaurants where you can sit at a table and watch the kitchen work, which is really cool.
Oh, I love
right?
that.
But at the end of the day, if the food tastes like crap, right? It's
Yep.
not good, right? So all people really care about is the end product, right? And you've probably seen photos or videos of stuff of how a car is made,
Yep.
right? But how they make the car doesn't mean that's the reason why you're buying the car,
Yep.
right? So I think this translates, and we always get hung up into how we do it. And I think sometimes that effort is misplaced, although there's plenty of value out of it. Don't get me wrong, right? So, okay, so we have our last thing that we want to talk about, which came up yesterday. The thing I attended was called Common Skew, and the last speaker that spoke for a good hour or so was Seth Godin, who is one of my all-time favorite authors. If you don't know who he is, he writes a fantastic blog. He blogs every single day. You can just, in Google right now, type in Seth, S-E-T-H. He's the first thing that comes up. He's amazing, right? So, and he's got a lot of great books. I've got them all. They're fantastic. But he talked about yesterday about the smallest viable audience. Okay. And I think this really matters for our industry. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because a lot of times we get hung up in trying to please everyone.
Yep.
Right? We try to sell we can sell t-shirts or embroidery or dye sub or whatever to everyone, right? And what happens is by trying to sell to everyone, we miss out on the people that really matter, which are people that love what we do and probably will pay more for it. And so you see this all the time, especially in Facebook, where people do this price check thing. Price check, 100 gildan, how much would you pay? How much would you charge, right? Which is the absolute wrong thing to do.
Yep.
Okay? Because you're asking other printers what they're charging their customers, right? They're not your customers. It doesn't matter what they charge because it's a different market. And so one of the things that Seth talked about yesterday was finding the smallest amount of people that you can have customers with. What is that? Right? So instead of trying to appeal to 10,000 different customers, right? Can you find 500 customers that will pay more for what you do? Right? And this is what I talk about a lot. Can you work half as hard for twice as much? Right? So finding these people that really resonate with what you do, with how you matter, what you're doing, can really accelerate your growth, your success. You can make more profit, blah, 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 blah. Right. And Seth told this really great little anecdote, and I'm probably going to butcher it up, but I want to share it. Do you think that's okay, Alan?
Go ahead.
Share my story?
There's no copyright. Go ahead.
So he talked about Mercedes-Benz, the car company, right? And I want you to picture this. I want you to picture you're some fat cat, rich dude that lives in LA, right? You got the mansion, you got the trophy wife, you got the kids in a private school, you got it made, right? And you're driving the top of the line Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
In an instant, that car didn't matter at all, because what's next to you blowing your doors off in the HOV lane is what? Is the brand new Tesla.
Yep.
Is a brand new Tesla. Why did it matter? Because now this is the biggest, baddest car on the block, right? It's sustainable. It's using renewable energy. It gets to get in the HOV lane with one person in the car. right? It sells for lots of money. It's a status symbol. It's all this kind of stuff. And now all your golf course country club buddies are all buying Teslas. And now the Mercedes doesn't matter anymore. Okay. What Tesla did is they went after the smallest viable audience. They built their own car. They didn't try to out Mercedes.
Yep.
They did their own thing. And now look where they are. Right. So it wasn't overnight, and they had plenty of mistakes. If just Google up, Elon Musk breaking the truck window video. Remember that? Right. They made plenty of mistakes, and they're going to make tons of mistakes in the future. But look at what they're doing. Right. They've created their own audience. And so what I'm really talking about here is, as apparel decorators, as screen printers or embroiderers or whatever you do, right? We always go for the easy. We always go for the schools, right? We always go for, other people in our community that everybody's trying to serve, right? And if you read Blue Ocean Strategy, it's bloody water, right? There's so many people trying to get that business, right? That those customers know, what, I can pick anybody.
Yep.
Right. And it's very difficult to please these people, and you're instantly a commodity. Right. So the thing that I want to leave here today on is becoming who is your smallest viable audience? Right. How can you become the Tesla in your market? What can you do? You can invent your own thing. You can find your own blue water where there's nobody feeding over there. There's no sharks feeding on that dead whale, which is the reason why the blood is in the water, like those schools, right? What can you do to change? What can you do to be something different? Can you create something that only matters to you, and then you can build that up? And I'm not saying just abandon your current customers. I'm saying right now, think of something different and then build it and start replacing these customers that you're not making good margin on with the customers that you can.
Yep.
Right. That's kind of the idea here. Right. So if you're watching this right now and you've done something like that, I would love it if you would share kind of your process in that. Maybe you don't have to tell everybody who your secret customer is, but what did you do? Right.
I agree.
I think that would really kind of help people understand this a little better. Right. What do you think about this, Alan?
I think it's perfect because, and I was thinking the same thing you did with the school market. Everybody that starts and everybody does it. And no offense, if that's your main market and you're killing it in there, awesome. Because now you are the big shark in that bloody water there. But I would almost rather go to a more rifle approach to a market where there's less competition. Maybe there's one big one. Go after that, be Tesla, do it better. Don't be like them, be better than them. And start seeing what they're doing and do something different and start giving those people a choice. It's no different. Everybody here is garment decorating. But for me, I love the garment decorating industry. That's where I live most of the time. But the other time, I'm in the membrane switch and electronic printing industry. And, automotive glass and things like that. That is a more difficult industry to create sales with, but it's way more profitable when we spend the time there. And so I have to divide up my time for that because there's less players that can play in that. And when we do get the prize, it's always a lot more profitable, a lot longer.
Right. Well, that's great. That's excellent. Hey, we got a couple comments. So Greg's here. Thanks for commenting, Greg, by the way. All the customer cares about is the Christmas morning feeling when they see the first shirt out of the box. You're exactly right. That's what I was kind of talking about. And then he also says smallest viable audience is the 2021 holy shit. So if you don't know what that means, is the first Thread X, they had Ricardo Crespo. He got a great keynote where he talked about what the holy shit factor is, where something is just so awesome. It's like, oh my God, holy shit, that's what I need. And then people it doesn't matter what it costs, they're getting it.
Yep.
Right. And so that's what we're really talking about here. Right. What can you do? What can you create? Right. For somebody in your area, your tribe, what you do, your hobby, whatever, where you're the only person doing that. And I just thinking about this, there's a shop that is a perfect example of this, and they're probably not watching, but it's Jared Hennis with Rockford Art Deli in Rockford, Illinois. Okay. So if you don't know his shop, everything in his whole building is about Rockford, Illinois. Right. So he has kind of a really cool shop. I did a Adventures in Apparel decorating video for jerseys on that. So just Google that. And so what's really interesting there is his press, his printing is in the middle of his retail store.
Yep.
Right. And everything in his store is all about Rockford, Illinois. Right. And so his shop was founded on August the 15th. That's also the area code for Rockford. So they have an 8/15 day every year, right? Where they give away free shirts and they do all kinds of stuff. He does a lot of area code shirts, a lot of stuff about Rockford. And Rockford, actually, if you don't know this, is where a lot of fasteners are made, screws, bolts, right? The nickname for the city is Screw City, which is hilarious, right? For a nickname for a city. So they got Screw City shirts and they got Rockford and they got 8/15 and they got all this stuff. His whole business is about Rockford, Illinois. You know what he's not doing? He's not doing schools.
Yep.
He's not trying to compete with, doing shirts for the deli down the street or whatever. He's invented his own thing, right? And so I think that's just remarkable. Yeah, and I'm not saying I copy Jared, right? But it's just like, what can you do? So here's the challenge. If like, for example, John was commenting about he can't find any work, right? What can you do that's similar to this?
Sure.
And can you invent your own category and then build that, right? Is it lots of work? Yes. Will you have instant success? Probably not. Right. But it's the process of building it. Right. Yep. That I think you're going to learn a lot. And I think it's going to be really interesting. Right. So, all right. So we got other comments here. Yosta says, for me, this is that. Okay. Hopefully he's agreeing with us.
I think so.
Davis says, we moved away from competing for the $4 1,000 shirt order, just an example. And I moved to focusing on the fan groups where our margins are almost double. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Perfect. Thank you, Davis. And then it's also sold as a service, not just a T-shirt. Exactly. And as our good friend Mark Houdre always says, it's like quit selling ink on cotton.
Yep.
Right? You be a problem solver, right? So where are we on time? Oh, we're over.
We're over bonus time. In fact, Cindy King, we lost her already. If you look up there. Just above Greg Kitson's post.
Yeah. Oh, it's lunchtime for me, and I'm hungry. Thank you for joining lunch. I always come away thinking something to think about. Hey, fantastic. Thank you, Cindy.
I'm a little hurt that a ham sandwich is more important than us. Cindy, it hurts me deeply. No, we're okay.
I don't know. Sometimes, Alan, I think I'd rather eat a ham sandwich than talk to you, too.
Oh, so I agree. I agree.
Okay, so let's wrap up. So first off, thank you so much for watching. And if you're watching this recording as a recording, can you please leave a comment, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, that you're here and watching the recording. And we would love that. Also, please share us with your friends and other colleagues in the industry. We're trying to build up our channel a little bit, and we'd love that help.
And next week, don't forget
who's coming next week?
Lon Winters.
And so if you don't know, Alan, who is Lon Winters?
Lon Winters is the man, the myth, and the legend. No, you know what? Lon Winters has started very young in this as a production manager in California. He has worked for some brands. He has made his name. One is a good printer. But in just outside of Denver, he owns Graphic Elephants. He is an award-winning printer, but Lon is a guy who is just down to earth. He is a guy that you can trust. He's extremely likable, and he's very transparent. And the conversation I had with Lon, he's always one just wanting to help anybody in the industry. He's extremely approachable. And, everybody talks to him and interviews him. about prints. He's very much into SOP, and I know questions will come up on that. He'll be happy to answer. But I am excited, Marshall, to talk to him on how Graphic Elephants as a print shop has weathered COVID.
Yeah.
Because when, Lon's one of those names, a lot of people here know him and have seen his name. And you think because there's name recognition that he doesn't have problems or he doesn't have it easy. Everybody has struggled with this. Right. And I'm looking forward that Lon's willing to share of what Graphic Elephants has done, where they have failed, where they haven't moved as fast, what they're doing now, and how they're still keeping their head above water.
Right. This could be great. Can't wait. Lon's a friend, and I can't wait to talk to him.
And you know what? I don't say it enough. Lon is an Academy member, and I'm honored that Lon, when I was nominated for the Academy, Lon was one of the references that second that. So
yeah, good.
I believe he was on there, and I know he did yours. So yeah.
Great. So, all right, cool. So anyway, that's pretty much it from us. You got any fun stuff going on this weekend, Alan?
No, I'm getting ready for my first big sales trip of the year. So I'm excited. Yeah, there's Eric Campbell. Talk about someone. Hey, later on today, Eric Campbell, the Take Up. Got to be on it. Got to watch it. Yeah. It's an embroidery and digitizer.
Yeah, Eric. Hey, we want you on this show too. So let's get that.
Eric, we do. Contact me, Eric. We need you on Q&A. We're now booking. So, yeah.
All right. So anyway,
I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for my first big sales trip of out of town trip of the year. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be. I love trips. I'm going to start traveling in February. So I was actually booked a whole bunch of airplane tickets and hotels and stuff yesterday. So, Oh, did we say Graphic Elements? We meant Graphic Elephants.
No, it's Graphic Elephants. He used to work for a company, I believe, called Graphic Elements.
Oh, really?
I think so. Greg, is that correct? But the name of his company is Graphic Elephants. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right.
I believe that's what it is. So, yeah.
So anyway, that's that. So, hey, if you got any questions or whatever, you can reach out to me. Happy to help you. Marshall at marshallatkinson.com. And, of course, Alan is willing to help, as always, too. What's your email?
ahow@easyway.com.
There you go. That's it. So thank you so much. Love you guys. Appreciate you. And we will talk to you next week. Take care.
Have a great day.